board. We are now on live recording as well. So to start with, if anybody needs a copy of the agenda to refer to, Emily attached one in the chat section of the webinar. It is a fairly short agenda for today. I am waiting for one other individual to sign on here as one of the topics for the agenda today. But in case there's something that has slipped my recollection, does anybody have anything that would be under old business that we need to take up? Not seeing anything.
Sheriff, if we have time, I wouldn't mind maybe talking about next year's budget stuff, so we don't kick it. If there's any ideas on.
Well, I think we're going to get an update on some of those discussions from Chief Graven. He did just sign
Perfect.
on. So, Chief, if you're ready, we can move into the new business. The next item on the agenda is the user committee update, and Chief Graven has graciously taken on chairing that user committee, and he's here to present the board an update on what's going on within user committee and then some subgroups that he's working on. So Chief Graven, it is all yours.
Thank you, Sheriff. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
So we did have a couple of meetings, and there was some good discussion that we have had from those meetings. I've been attending the meetings, and the participation is picking up, which is excellent. And there seems to be a vested interest. And one of those interests is a couple of work groups that we're forming, that we have formed. And they sent out some information to those work groups. One of those is for the YCOM IGA, which is the 190 agreement. And what that is the 190 is referencing the statute that is the requirements for those of us to have IGAs with other organizations, in this case being YCOM. And that IGA that we have, that I'm looking at, is from 2006 with signatures. There were some updates to that, but however, we want to get together and discuss that. So August 21st, we're going to be getting together for our first meeting to have a conversation about that IGA and see what the necessary changes are and or will be. The second part of that, which kind of coincides, but we'll start with the IGA first, and then that same work group, a lot of us will be on both of those, and that's regarding the YCOM user dues. And what we're going to do there is just to review those user dues and see what can be discussed as far as if there needs to be a change, and if that change needs to take place, what that change will be. So a good interest in everyone involved. Hopefully it'll be a good productive conversation in the work group. And after we have those meetings during the next board meeting, I'll report to the board as to where we're at with that and any updates that might be. Also during this committee, we've been discussing some of the different things that are taking place as far as the tower upgrades and so forth. I think that the board is all very well aware of. And it's something that we out in the field really appreciate, to have that communication, and I extend my appreciation to the sheriff and the work that he's been doing on that, and the realization that he's been here a while, I've been here a while, and how what we used to have, what we referred to as no band instead of what was the low band, and the updates that we have had, and that those systems are in need of upgrades, and that's taking place. So there's been discussion about that, and the process is moving forward with that, and the sheriff's been doing a lot of the legwork on that, and actually going out and viewing those towers and taking ahead of the upgrades that are required for that, so we can communicate, which is essential. That's all I have to report. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it.
Any questions for Chief Graven on user committee or those work groups for the 190 and the user dues? Commissioner, I want to make sure I know it, you
Yeah.
brought it up and, so, yeah, the hope is, certainly by, fall of this year to have some preliminary information that we can push out to the partners, so they have, a much earlier heads up. You know, I
Yeah.
can't guarantee the speed at which the committee will come back, but, we are already working on trying to have that information more readily accessible.
No, that's a great update. Thank you, Chief. Sure.
You're very welcome. Yeah, I like to check boxes and then move forward. And these are things that are essential for all of us and that collaboration and partnership. And so the kickoff for that, the participation seems to be well, and we'll reach out to others that haven't yet to make sure that we get good input on everything that's involved with this and move forward so we can check that box.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Let's move on to the next item, which is the director's update. We've got Patty and Steve there, so I will turn it over to them.
Good afternoon, everyone. I asked Steve if he would brief you on a couple items, so he's going to go first.
First thing is we're involved in the air show planning meeting. We just had another meeting. Patty participated in another one a couple weeks ago. Just getting ready for this year's air show, and they're already also planning in these meetings for next year's air show, which they think is going to be significantly larger. The second thing that I have is a total of 6 of our staff, including myself, participated in the active shooter incident management training in Sheridan last month. It was phenomenal training. Our staff got a lot out of it. They actually had dispatch functions, dispatch computers, a basic CAD system. So they were able to work through going through the process of what that sounds like as the different units are calling different things in. They were able to experience and go to the different command post setups, see how those functions work. The instructors had a lot of praise for our staff. Said that they gave us instructions on day one and they didn't need to worry about us for the rest of the week because we had it figured out and we had it dialed in. Our newest staff member who started with us in March, one of the scenarios and the only scenario, we actually got a call from a suspect that was holding a hostage, and he's the one that spoke on the phone with the suspect. Did a phenomenal job, and the instructor was very impressed and shocked when I told him how new of an employee this was, and he said he's definitely on track and we have a great program. So it was invaluable training to us. I appreciate the sheriff's office inviting us and look forward to more training with them in the future.
Do you have any questions for Steve?
I might just jump in and kind of put a plug in here that I've heard a lot of commentary from folks here in the office about how much they've been able to put into practice some of the principles from that active shooter incident management on other types of calls, particularly the Wilco propane tank incident. Just this concept of a more unified command structure and bringing all of the partners into one place. It was kind of a light bulb for at least some of my frontline supervisors that really appreciated the training as well and can see where the same principles that were taught there in the context of an active shooter apply across many other call types. So look forward to continuing to develop that.
Thank you, Sheriff. And just as a review, the Oregon International Air Show is the last weekend of September. It runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And like Steve said, they are actively, while they're managing this year, they're actively planning for next year. And we have been given a heads up that they have a cooperative agreement brewing between Evergreen Museum and the airport and the air show to bring in a very, very large crowd for the Blue Angels again. So while they're planning this year, they really, a component of each meeting that we've had so far is talking about next year and shuttle buses and expanded parking and very, very large crowd draws and those type of components. Any questions for me so far? Okay, So moving on, I have, I'm going to go through several updates. I always try to pick ones that I think that you'll be expecting and of our particular interest to you. And please be sure if I haven't mentioned something when I get done to ask me a question. We've been extremely busy with projects in YCOM, and we are managing several different things running parallel. The text to 911 integration, we do have field engineers here from Motorola on site this week. They are working in the back room, configuring all of the hardware that will be used to cut us over to integrated text to 911 on our consoles. We are still the first, a pilot organization for the very first integrated text to 911, receiving a text message on our telephone customer premise equipment 911 center in Oregon. That's a big mouthful. Clackamas County 911 will soon follow after us. So we are going almost in tandem. But the difference there is today they use an over-the-top application. Today, if you're in Clackamas County, you can text 911, and they have an over-the-top application that allows a text from a citizen to go to a computer. It's just not through the 911 network itself. So I just wanted to make that clear to you. Anyway, the field engineers are on site this week, provided everything goes well. The network, we are told, is ready. They will return the week after Labor Day, so the week of September 8th. We will do extensive testing, functional testing on text to 911 in YCOM, and then we'll have a soft launch. And this is where I will communicate with you and let you know. This is one of those systems where when it's live, it's live, it's live. And we would like to have some participation and yet not open up all of the gates to the public and solicit a bunch of emergency calls while they're trying to work out any functional bugs or differences that they need. So we are on schedule to go live the week of September 8th, and I will let you know as, of course, the next time we meet will be October 14th. Are there any questions about text to 911? The final thing that I would say about text to 911 is that this is fully paid for through the 911 excise tax. It's from the 911 sub account. The money does not come out of our distribution. So this is over and above the amount of 911 tax that we receive into our budget each year. It's fully paid by OEM. And the next project I wanted to update you on is the Law Records Management Project. So this is, as you know, in total, it'll be about 18 months. We are still on track to go live next spring with a new records management system for all of our law members. Again, YCOM is hosting that, all of the servers involved for that, as well as the application itself. And we are the project managers of a cooperative effort to upgrade from a 2003 technology that they are currently using today. That is moving along schedule. We have a second workshop for training as they build. The company has built a framework for it, delivered the framework. You can think of an erector set. The framework for the building is in, and now they're starting to build rooms and starting to build roles and permissions, and the basic foundation is in, and the components that are going to make it work are being built by participants at Yama County Sheriff's Office, McMinnville Police Department. That's going very well. And again, their next workshop will be next week. Questions on that? Okay. Along the lines of that, we have discovered that Central Square inaccurately scoped the project as far as time that was required in professional services. So far, I've successfully negotiated that no additional dollars are going to change hands, but One of the components to the new records management system is that while an officer is inside the records management system creating a report, they can also run a person's driver's license. They can run them for warrants. They can check an article to see if it's stolen. So that gives them access to the Criminal Justice Information System, CJIS. How we access that today is all through YCOM, and it's through what's called a message switch. So YCOM has a direct connection to the state, and all queries that come from mobiles or come from the field are ran through our network and out to the state. So now, as part of RMS, we also have to create a connection from YCOM's CAD to RMS. And we are in what's called a hybrid proxy server. And all of that means for you is that we need to be directly integrated to the state. We can't have a server in between us in order to deliver that same functionality to RMS. Central Square knows this. We've spoke about this over and over and over. And the aha moment within the last month was they know that we have this item here and it's working today, and they're going to need this item here with my second hand. What they didn't take into account when they scoped the project is that they can't work on this one without taking us down. So we are going to be spinning up, literally spinning up a couple more virtual servers on our network. We have the capacity to do that. We have the licensing to do that. And we, in the end, are going to have to create that new message switch so that they can build upon it without disrupting operations as they're going now. And that's what they misscoped. I have an updated meeting with them tomorrow. And like I said, so far, I have been very clear that this should not cost me anything additional in professional services. And so far we've been successful with that. And then finally, the last thing, we also have another significant change to our networking with the city of McMinnville and Yamhill County, which then would extend down to Chief Graven and also Chief Martinez in Carlton. And that's this new product has a component called Common Identity Management, and we call it CIM, C-I-M. And what that allows is for the first time in our area, a person could log into a mobile in a car at YCSO, a deputy could log on for shift, and that one login would be able to allow him access to RMS, to Inform Browser, to Field Ops, to any other product that we have in the suite. Today, if that deputy wanted to, they would have to log in to their mobile, then log in to Field Ops, then log in to Browser, and then go to a completely separate location and log into RMS. So it's ease of use for all individuals that are working on the product suite, but it also means a very large coordination between the firewalls of YCOM, the firewall of Yamhill County, and the firewall of City of McMinnville to allow that traffic through so that someone can be identified and confirmed as an intended user on the system. So just wanted to make sure that we as an organization are aware that while we call it the Law Enforcement Records Management Project, it is taking a considerable amount of YCOM personnel and resources and coordination to manage the project. However, I also want to emphasize that while we spoke for a couple of years about who would host the project, we absolutely, without a doubt, made the correct decision in entering into the IGA, because just today we have a weekly call, a standing weekly call. And on the standing weekly call, Central Square said, "Hey, Patty, Kristen needs to get on the system. She has some time tomorrow." I call out on the phone, "Scott Kirkland, you have time at 10 a.m. They are constantly, Central Square is on our system. And that is, we don't open up a gate and just let them. It is a, can I get onto your system? Yes. And we manage their access. So if one of the individual entities were running this project, they would not be able to offer the same access to the combined network that we are able to. And they would constantly be reaching out saying, they're telling us something about a message switch and we don't understand. And so it is in the right place. And I am confident that the project is going very well. Are there any questions there?
Patty, can
Oh.
you give that name one more time? It was a mouthful, long one. The name of that project was
That is law enforcement records management. So this
thank you.
is the sheriff's office replacing their records management system on the county side, McMinnville PD, and then eventually hosting Yamhill PD and Carlton Police Department also. Yamhill County hosts their access into records management. So, okay. I'm sure everyone here heard about a little propane fire that happened in McMinnville in the north end of town, right at the beginning of the Emma County Fair. I wanted to let you know that we have been invited to an after action review. It's going to be hosted by the McMinnville Fire District. The information that I have currently is that they're planning for it to be 3 hours in length. And I wanted to let you know that I am reviewing and considering who from YCOM to attend. I've asked for additional information. Is it an after action administratively? Is it how do we work better as partners? Is it operationally reviewing that incident? On many after actions, commonly it is what is our mission? What was our mission required that day? Did we accomplish our mission? Yes or no? And no, why not? And what could we do better to prepare or to act differently next time? So when I add all of those up, I know that I have a lot of tools in my toolbox here at YCOM for an after action review. And am I being requested to bring tapes? Am I being requested to bring my operational supervisor so she can speak to the activities that were occurring on the ground? Do I bring Steve for responses? Is it all of the above? So I am excited to be able to participate in that. Just looking for a bit more information so that we can define that we have not only the right people at the table to fully participate for YCOM, but also the right resources at the table. Often people look to us for data, and if I don't know, I need to run it. I can only guess on what we're going to talk about. So that will be mid-September. And I'm excited that all of the partners locally are getting together. Just as the sheriff said, starting to practice more unified command and common terminology and working better together. Counselor?
Yeah, Patty, thank you. Is that open to the public or is that a closed session?
No, these would be strictly for the responders. And there could be a component that they only want those who responded that day. I just don't know. But typically an after action review, an entity, you want to create an environment that entities can say, we fell short here and here and here, and or our plan is insufficient in this area, or we know we need to bolster up in this area, or we need to activate a team sooner. And those are things that generally are, you may be talking about critical response plans that the public is not privy to.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Yes. With that, one of the takeaways that YCOM does have and that will be coming out or should be coming out, we would bring is the Everbridge platform. So it's hosted by Yamhill County and through the state of Oregon, or in conjunction with, it's called Yamhill County Alerts, as we all know. We've spoke about it many times. One of the things that YCOM was asked during that event was, do you have reverse 911? And we will probably need to talk about the communication of, we said no, we only have Yamhill County alerts. And I just want to make sure that our board understands that if someone asks me, do we have reverse 911? That's like asking me, do you have a crescent wrench? We do have a crescent wrench. It's called the Yamhill County Alerts, and it is an adjustable wrench. It's not a crescent brand, but it's an adjustable wrench, and that's exactly what it's for, is emergency alert and warning notification to the public. The difference, if you would talk about the difference in the wrench itself, is that there's an add-on component to Yamhill County Alerts that is not in place yet today. And that is today, the Everbridge product, again, I'm using them synonymous with Reverse 911, with Everbridge in Yamhill County Alerts, that is subscriber based. So one of the things that I will be suggesting to all of our member agencies is during Preparedness Month, it's coming up. Let's all be unified in our messaging about Yamhill County Alerts. Let's get people signing on to that. YCOM received many, many, many phone calls from the public during that event. How can I get updates? And we sent them either to social media and to Yamhill County Alerts to sign up for push notifications. The one component that is missing from what someone would traditionally call a reverse 911 is that, again, Yamhill County Alerts, if I sign up for it, I will receive it. If I am from out of state and I was in Wilco parking lot and I had a cell phone that could receive wireless emergency alerts, those are called WIA alerts, we don't have that capability today, or the emergency manager doesn't have that capability today. I did check in with him and ask him, if he had an update, and he reminded me that it is a very large uplift and that takes considerable amount of resources, and that's something that we'll be following up with. So WIA alerts are not provided through Everbridge, through the state of Oregon, and what they provide to us for alert and warnings. So today we cannot force a message to a cell phone that has not asked for it. Are there any questions about that? Okay. We were notified a few months ago that Shane Hoffman, the director of IT at Yamhill County, has been investigating alternative telephone systems for Yamhill County. And it's not going to move to a new system tomorrow or next month. However, he is investigating NASPO pricing, which means no RFP, no proposals necessary to change out the Mitel system and go to something called Zoom Phone. And we have been invited to take part in some of those information gathering on Zoom Phone. To date, we have found one 911 center that utilizes, or actually that will be utilizing Zoom Phone with their integrated 911 computers. And they're in California and they go live next week. And I just wanted to let you know, we've asked a lot of questions. We have not found a center in Oregon that utilizes Zoom Phone, that it works with Motorola Vesta, which is what we have for our 911 system. I have been clear in communication. Scott Kirkland is managing those conversations. I've attended one demo, and I've been clear in our communications. It would never be the goal of YCOM to implement a business line phone system that did not directly integrate into the 911 phone system, so that we're not operating two, but it's seamless to the dispatcher. And we are talking about the back end of the phone, that it presents exactly the same. And then as a second priority, we have numerous members who rely upon us to do a 4-digit or 10-digit transfer to them from our center. And the way that an online or a VoIP phone system is set up, we could, if we aren't careful, we could create a system where I can't transfer off of my VoIP system to a 4-digit extension over at the county. And that's something that our members utilize, that functionality all the time. We also conference callers into a deputy or an officer or a chief's cell phone without needing to give up that telephone number. We conference judges in for telephonic search warrants. So we have identified some of those. A potential challenge for a VoIP phone system is that in this building, as tenants in this building, we activate the gates and doors after hours. So by entering a combination those are key features of an analog phone system where you enter star star a number and let someone in a door or let someone in a gate. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know so far, these are the very beginning stages, but over the next several months, if they do pursue a replacement to the Mitel system and look for something that is a newer technology, we will be keeping an eye on how well it integrates with our system here. Are there any questions about that? Okay, one more update for you. So as you're aware, we have 3 emergency communication specialist trainees, one which resigned last week. So we currently have 2 in training. They're doing extremely well. Melissa has just been signed out of call taking, and she just has a couple more things to be signed out of fire EMS as well. We are looking forward to the air show with both of the trainees providing that backbone of add-on dispatchers in the center. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Kent Rasmussen, he resigned last week. He was on a work plan, and I did support his decision, wish him very well, and have indicated to him that I was very, very proud of the hard work that he put in trying to do this job. It's a reminder, all of us, that it takes a unique and special skill set, and wanting to do it and being 100% committed. It's one of the professions that does not get you there. There are some things that talents and traits that a person has to walk in the door with that we can enhance and we can highlight. We cannot create the ability to talk on the phone, hear the radio, and press a button over here if the person is not wired to do so themselves. So that is unfortunate. I want to let you know I'll be working with Steve to open up a hiring process probably around the 1st of October. So in him hearing the 1st of October is the same, he's hearing it for the first time too. But in my mind, we'll probably be doing that about the 1st of October and add just a little bit more of a spread in between the 2 trainees that we already have in process. That would mean that we currently do have 2 openings in the center. If you remember, we just had 1 in addition to the 3 that we have in training. Are there any questions there? And I was distracted today and yesterday and last week as I was thinking, oh my goodness, when we meet every other month, there's so much that I could tell you, and I could talk for an hour, I could talk for 2 hours. And I always want to make sure that I'm, filling your cup on what you're interested in and you want to be aware of. But it also, the common theme that I keep focusing on is change management. And one of the things that our team has done very well in the past, but it's a constant balance and reminder, is change management. We have brand new trainers and they need so much support right now. Does the daily observation report match the guideline? Do they have the guideline out in front of them? So I'm not assigning a score to the trainee's performance. I'm reading what I documented about the performance, and I'm looking at the guideline, and that matches this number score, and I'm inputting that. We have lots of hands-on for our training program right now. Lots of hands-on always to continue keeping our service level up for our quality assurance and quality improvement, which that falls all on EMD, falls on Darcy and Calade. We have numerous that I've just talked about, only a couple technology differences in technology that we're implementing in the center. Each one of those takes change management, as well as procedurally the after action report or the after action review. If there are items that come out of that after action review that affect the way we do services, that involves policy change, that involves maybe operational training, that involves sign-offs, and that involves us ensuring that our quality assurance, we were able to make that change. So that's one of the things as we have made great strides in bringing people on quicker. It reminds me that we have some very young staff, and I mean young as in tenured within our center, and we're getting ready over the next several months. We'll be signing off to, and they could be working with a dispatcher who's only been on their own for a year. So whereas you're used to seeing my face and knowing I've been here over 30 years, and Steve, we have dispatchers who've just been on their own for a year. And when we have things that are critical incidents, we are looking to them to call back to their training and limited experience to do the right thing or use their resources to phone a friend. And that's been my phrase lately. You know, that's what Darcy's here for. That's what Steve's here for. That's what I'm here for. Where do the users see the difference? Sometimes we're saying, hang on a second, I'm going to check. Whereas Steve, you might ask Steve a question and he says, that's blue. That's what that is. Or let me call so-and-so and I'll get you that answer. That's where we will see the service level changes. And I think they'll just, it's on the forefront of my mind. And so I wanted to let you know, change management and providing additional support to our staff while they gain that experience, I think are paramount to our continued success without gaps in service level while we have these big events. It does not fall short on me, my final comments, that the week of September 8th is our testing and turn up for text 911. Just a handful of years ago, those were major wildfires going on during that week, both in Clackamas County and affecting in our area. So we are still in the heat and the heart of fire season, and we have been very busy. On that note, we had a structure fire on Sunday evening, and Melissa Link, who is currently in training, was here working, as well as Garrett Hardwick, who is currently in training. He was working with Daisha Crickmer and Darcy and Clade, our supervisor. And Darcy said, Melissa and I have law enforcement. We have everything else. Daisha, you and Garrett work the fire. And Garrett worked that fire and did an outstanding job. The training team did. And we did receive an email commendation from Captain Burton with McMinnville Fire District. So I want to pass that along. They are doing very well. And we are very busy. So while Darcy said, you guys take the fire and we have everything else, and Melissa's performance was outstanding, Darcy all the while was aware that it was all on Darcy's shoulders and there was a lot. So that reminds me that I wish that I had brought you the telephone statistics from a couple of our last busy events and what a normal day would be and what those 3 hours or 2 hours, what the activity level increases in the center. So I will put that on my to-do list for a future meeting and provide you with some examples. We are data rich, and I think it's important to provide you with examples of how we go from 0 to 100 very quickly. So are there any questions for me? Anything that you were hoping to be updated on that I didn't prepare for today? Thank you. That's all that I have.
Thank you, Patty. Does anybody else have anything that we need to address today? Since we do only meet every other month. Just want to make sure that if there's any questions that you have for the director or for myself or anybody else, that we give that opportunity. Sounds like we covered it all.
Awesome.
So our next meeting is on Tuesday, October the 14th. At 3 p.m. again, depending on how those meetings go that Chief Graven's going to be having with those work groups, there will be a regular user committee meeting between now and then. I will just throw in the plug that they're still telling me that we will be going live with the new county law and county fire channels on the county radio system during the month of August. Do not have a date yet for when we anticipate that actual cutover to take place, but should have definitely some updated information as far as going live with that new equipment at all of the tower sites for those two primary public safety channels on our 5-channel system. So hope to realize some gains with new hardware, new antennas, new coax. And the team is optimistic about potentially addressing some of the known challenges that we have with the current system. And that'll also provide us with some spare equipment, because we can take the base stations from those existing channels to have in reserve for parts, or to bring those other 3 channels that still exist back online if we had some sort of a failure with a component. So I look forward to seeing everybody again on October 14th. And in between, if you ever have any questions about anything radio, feel free to get a hold of me. I'm sure that Patty would also take any phone calls if anybody from the board has any questions about anything. Thank you all.
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Meeting's adjourned at
Appreciate it.
3:45.